There's something I want to do a little differently in this episode. Not introduce you a new idea, not leave you with another insight to apply, not give you another way to, optimize yourself, but just pause. Because over the last few episodes, we have been sitting with a lot pressure, expectations, rejection, exhaustion that doesn't fully go away, being the one everyone depends on, trying to switch off and realizing your mind never really does, finally getting time to rest and still not feeling rested, leading people while quietly questioning yourself, carrying responsibility even when you don't fully know what to do next. And on the surface, all of these seem like separate experiences, different situations, different versions, different struggles, different moments in life. But if you stay with them long enough, if you stop trying to solve them for a second, you begin to notice something. Underneath of all, there is a common thread, which is quite consistent, almost invisible at first. Somewhere along the way, success stopped being something you did. And slowly, without even realizing it, it became who you are. Not intentionally, not all at once. It happens subtly. You got recognized for being reliable, so you become the strong one. You get appreciated for delivering, so you become the capable one. You learn that achievement gets rewarded, that composure gets respected, that being needed gives you a sense of value. And before you know it, your performance is no longer just connected to your work. It becomes connected to your identity, to your worth, to your sense of self, to whether you feel enough, and that changes everything. Because now the pressure doesn't just feel external, it feels personal. Rejection doesn't just sting, it shakes something deeper in you. Rest feels uncomfortable because stillness forces you to meet the version of yourself that isn't producing anything. And even success, the thing you worked so hard for, doesn't fully settle inside you for very long. There's always another target, another expectation, another version of yourself you feel you need to become. So, even when life looks good from the outside, something still feels unsettled. Not broken, just disconnected. Like you have spent so much time in becoming who the world needed you to be that you haven't had space to ask who you are underneath all of it. And maybe that's why slowing down feels so unfamiliar. Because when your identity is built around being productive, stillness can feel almost threatening. If you're not solving something, not achieving something, or helping someone, or moving towards something, then who are you? That is the question most high performers spend years avoiding without even knowing it. Not because they are shallow, not because they are incapable of depth, but because staying busy protects you from having to sit with what's underneath the busyness. So you keep going to the next goal, to the next milestone, to the next version of success, hoping that eventually one of them will finally make you feel settled inside. But sometimes in the quiet moments, between meetings, or late at night, during weekends, that should feel peaceful. Or in the silence after achieving something you once deeply wanted. You feel it. That strange emptiness you can't fully explain. The feeling that you have become very good at functioning, but haven't fully felt connected to yourself in a long time. And if you have been listening to this series closely, maybe something in you has already started recognizing that. Maybe not clearly yet, but enough to feel it. Maybe in a way, you constantly feel responsible for holding everything together. Maybe in how hard it is to truly rest without guilt. Maybe in how deeply you take disappointment, even when you are pretending you are fine. Maybe in the quiet thought you rarely say out loud. If I stopped performing, what's left of me? That is not an easy question. And you don't need to rush towards an answer because this isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finally seeing yourself clearly. Maybe for the first time in a long time. Because the real work isn't always becoming more. Sometimes the real work is learning how to exist without constantly needing to prove your value. And that's where we are going next. The next set of conversations wouldn't just be about pressure or about performance, they will be about identity. Who you are when you are not achieving, not proving, not carrying everyone else, not being admired for how much you can handle, being just you. And honestly, that space can feel uncomfortable at first. Because underneath achievement, there's often exhaustion, fear, loneliness, a deep need to feel worthy without earning it every second. But there's also truth there, there's clarity there. There's a version of you that exists beyond output, beyond titles, beyond how useful you are to everyone else. So, before we move deeper into all of this, just pause here for a moment. You don't need to rush to the next episode. You don't need to immediately figure yourself out. You don't need to turn this into another thing to work on. But maybe just sit with this question honestly. Ask yourself, if everything you achieve disappeared for a moment, what part of you would still know you are worthy? And if the series has been bringing up things you have been quietly carrying alone, you don't have to hold all of it by yourself. If you would like to explore this more deeply, I have shared a link in the description where you can book one-to-one conversation with me. Until then, don't rush past what is this trying to show you.